The Prime Minister says he will make an announcement within the next 2 weeks about funding for a new port that would facilitate the export of liquid natural gas to Europe. This comes after Carney had talks with Germany's leader about being a supplier of LNG.
Canada's in a bind. Mark Carney just unveiled what he pitched as a nation-building gas expansion plan to compete with Donald Trump's energy dominance. But instead of power, Canadians got smoke and mirror pipelines that exist only on paper export terminals buried in red tape and zero real progress. Meanwhile, Trump's America is cashing in, exporting record amounts of gas around the globe. Carney talks, Trump delivers.
Prime Minister Mark Carney unveiling the first 5 major projects his government has greenlit under its fast-tracking major projects bill, all part of Carney's campaign promise to build up the Canadian economy in the face of the U.S. trade war. But federal Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre says Carney isn't moving fast enough.
We used to build big things in this country, and we used to build them quickly. It's time to get back at it.
Calling them feasible and in the national interest, Mark Carney unveils the first batch of his so-called nation-building projects. An expansion to the Port of Montreal, work to double liquefied natural gas production in BC, a first-of-its-kind small modular nuclear reactor in Ontario, a new copper and zinc mine in Saskatchewan, and an expansion of the Red Chris mine copper operation in northwestern BC. All of them are already well under development, including consultations with Indigenous groups and other levels of government.
Much of the other work has been done. There's a few things to be done to shepherd across the line.
Carney says his new Calgary-based Major Projects Office will help all 5 finish, saying final regulatory approvals and securing the rest of the financing will be a focus. He blames previous approval processes for preventing quick development in decades past, calling the system arduous and inefficient and promising his government will, quote, get out of the way going forward.
From now on, Canada's new government starts by asking ourselves for major projects, how? How can we do it bigger?
Did you catch that? Mark Carney standing there selling Canadians another round of nation-building fantasies, LNG expansion, copper mines, nuclear projects. He rattles off the list like it's already built. But let's be real, the hard part is announcing it's delivering. And Canada has delivered on energy in decades. Carney wants you to believe doubling LNG production in BC is just around the corner reality. Check. Canada has been chasing LNG dreams for 20 years and still has only one terminal under construction, Kitimat. It's years late, bogged down by ballooning budgets and endless disputes. Compare that to Trump's America, terminals approved, built, and exporting billions to Europe and Asia. While Carney talks about opening an office in Calgary, Trump flipped the switchy, turned on the gas cut deals, created jobs, lowered costs for families, and turned U.S. energy into a weapon of strength. Canada, every delay hands Washington another contract that should have been Canadian. Worse, U.S. firms buy our gas cheap, pipe it south, and resell it overseas at a markup. Ottawa is leading. It's being played. Pierre was right. Carney strutted onto the stage promising urgency, ambition, and results 6 months later. What's the scoreboard? 0 new projects, 0 LNG terminals moving forward, 0 pipelines. Unlocked, a blank slate of nothing. Meanwhile, Europe and Asia lock in long-term deals with America, while Canada watches from the sidelines. Here's the math: 39 projects stuck in Ottawa's approval grinder, another 100 in Saskatchewan alone waiting for decisions that never come. That's not a backlog, that's a blockade. And Carney's answer: another office that might send an email someday. Urgency, please. Trump tore out red tape, fast-tracked LNG terminals, and had shovels in the ground. Carney is building bureaucracy and calling it progress. It'd be funny if it was so costly, so damaging for Canadian workers and families. LNG should be Canada's golden ticket. The country is resource-rich, with massive reserves and surging global demand. But while Trump transformed U.S. LNG into a global powerhouse, Canada is stuck in neutral. The U.S. dominates markets, signs billion-dollar deals, builds at record speed, and Canadians are left with empty speeches, lost opportunities, and higher costs at home. Canada could have it, Canada should have it, but under Carney it's slipping away.
What we have today is Mark Carney, after 6 months, has not approved a single national project. anywhere in Canada. It's really incredible. He was elected saying that we are in an unprecedented crisis and that we needed to move with unimaginable speed. So what has he done? He's not permitted a single major mine, pipeline, nuclear plant, or anything else. What he's done today is announce that he's going to send an email to an office that isn't even fully staffed up yet, which will one day consider possibly approving 5 projects. This is pathetic. Do you know the federal government is blocking 39 projects that are in the regulatory system? 39. Scott Moe says there's another 100 projects in Saskatchewan alone that are waiting on federal decisions. The message to Mark Carney and the Liberals is they need to do one thing. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. All these projects need to go ahead is the removal of liberal anti-development laws and taxes that make them impossible to build.
Since Mark Carney took office, Canada has bled 86,000 jobs and lost $62 billion in net investment. That makes us the fastest shrinking economy in the G7. And it only took him 6 months to scribble down a list of 5 projects and ship them off to a half-staffed government office. For further review, snails move faster than this government. The results brutal: 62 billion gone, 86,000 jobs gone. This is to dip. It's the worst 5-month investment collapse in Canadian history. Investors are fleeing not because Canada lacks resources, but because Ottawa's policies make it nearly impossible to develop them. Carney had the chance to make LNG a pillar of strength, but instead he shackled it with carbon taxes, shipping bans, and endless consultation cycles that drag projects out for decades. Meanwhile, Washington is cashing in on Canadian resources. American companies buy our gas cheap, ship it south, liquefy it, and sell it overseas at a premium their pockets are filling. We're left with scraps. Canadians do the digging, Americans do the dealing. That's Carney's legacy. So far, look at the contrast. Trump cleared red tape, unleashed production, and turned LNG into a cornerstone of U.S. dominance. He put America first. It worked: jobs, contracts, exports, global influence. Canada needs that same focus: cut bureaucracy, back industry, and put our national interest first. Carney, he delivers paralysis wrapped in speeches. He talks about urgency, while the economy shrinks. Jobs, investment, opportunity all spiraling down the drain. Canada should be leading the LNG race, or at least running neck and neck. Instead, we're so far behind that even our own gas is being resold to the world by Washington. Pierre's message couldn't be clearer. Under Carney, Canada is just standing still. It's sliding backward.
39. Scott Moe says there's another 100 projects in Saskatchewan alone that are waiting on federal decisions. The message to Mark Carney and the Liberals is they need to do one thing. Get out of the way. Get out of the way. All these projects need to go ahead is the removal of liberal anti-development laws and taxes that make them impossible to build. We don't need a new bureaucracy in Ottawa or a new dream list. We need the federal government to get out of the way, and I'm here to help them do it. I'm putting forward the Canadian Sovereignty Act, which will get the government out of the way. Open the country for business, unlock our resources, repeal the industrial carbon tax, the energy cap, the shipping ban, C-69, the pipeline ban, repeal all of those liberal laws so that we can become a country that is strong, self-reliant, and stands on its own 2 feet. And I would just conclude by looking at the results of Mr. Carney, not his promises, not his latest paper shuffling exercise. $62 billion of net investment has left Canada since he became Prime Minister. That is the worst 5-month record of investment in Canadian history. Mark Carney has lost 86,000 jobs, and there is nothing to show for his 6 months. It's time for him to get out of the way, let builders build, let workers work, and let us become a strong, self-reliant, and sovereign